This is the Defenders podcast on TV Podcast Industries. We're talking about Marvel's Wonder Man, episode 6, Callback.
So you all here for the callback?
Claro.
I studied at Juilliard, mostly done theater, but I just wrapped up a Chris Nolan project.
Yeah, no formal training for me. I'm a student of life. Also, I'm Paul Thomas Anderson surfing instructor, and one day he was like, "You should be in my movie." Turns out I'm a natural. Phone hasn't stopped ringing.
It sounds like a pretty rough journey.
It wasn't.
No, I was being sarcastic.
Oh, cool. Not really into comedy.
Welcome back, fellow Defenders, to TV Podcast Industries. We're back talking about Marvel's Wonder Man, episode 6, Callback. I'm one of your hosts, Derek.
Hello there, fellow Defenders. Welcome back. I am one of your other hosts, John.
Is our music a bit too downbeat for what turned out to be the Wonder Man series, John? I was going for kind of a hopeful tune as our theme tune for the show.
I think it's hopeful, but it gets the sense of Simon's loneliness.
With a tinge of sadness to it, yes. And it is with a tinge of sadness, we have to say, that Chris had to step out just before we started recording.
Yes. Baby duties. Attention.
We are hoping that he'll return for the episode. It just happens sometimes, unfortunately. We're hoping that he'll be back. But you do have myself and John to talk you through the callback.
Absolutely. And what did he say? Something about Punami?
Something like that, yes.
Punami, tsunami, or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, something like that. Don't know what it means. But yes, we wish him all the very best.
Yes. May the odds be forever in your favour, Chris.
Absolutely.
But hopefully he will join us for this next episode. I know he really enjoyed this one as well. If you are joining us for the first time for episode 6 of Marvel's Wonder Man, there's 5 episodes to go back and have and check out. But we do want you to subscribe to the podcast as well by going over to tvpodcastindustries.com. Subscribe on the player of your choice over there as well. And you can send us your feedback on any of the episodes of Marvel's Wonder Man or any of the shows that we're covering to feedback at tvpodcastindustries.com. And just a reminder, we will also have our Marvel's Wonder Man pub quiz, our 6th question, coming up later on in this episode.
We certainly will, where you'll be in with a chance to get your hands on some goodies, maybe Wonder Man branded or not.
Hope so.
Depending on what we find out there that is series appropriate.
Yes. I did see some awesome branded gear that was given out in promotion for Wonder Man. So cool. I wish we lived in the States, because they all got gear. They got taken on a bus journey around Hollywood, showing Von Kovak's house, all this kind of stuff.
They got sunnies.
They got sunglasses, the cool shades from Wonder Man. There's some awesome stuff they got in the big box. Yeah. We don't get that in Ireland, unfortunately.
No, we don't. Disney, sort it out.
It would be great. But we will try and get some cool goodies for you if you are the one that gets all the answers right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And of course, fellow Defenders, a quick reminder that in addition to the email, we are over on Facebook with our Facebook group. Just head on over to facebook.com/groups/TV Podcast Industries. And we are, of course, on the new platform for us, Discord.
Yeah, it's only been around for about 15 years. But,
exactly.
We've had it for about a month and a half. And we'd love you to come and join us over on Discord if you're no longer doing some of those other platforms that we are also available on.
Indeed. But, Derek, what are some of the episode details for episode 6 of Wonder Man?
Well, this episode was directed once again by Tiffany Johnson, who directed episode 5, and the episode was written by Roja Gashtili and Julia Lerman, along with Andrew Guest. Now, Roja and Julia Lerman are co-writers for many, many years. Most recently, they worked on Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Apple TV show, Mr. Corman.
Very good.
And once again, another Apple TV show that appears out of nowhere and reminds me that the reason why I'm not seeing loads of actors that I really love is because they've all got Apple TV shows, which I don't have a subscription for.
Apple TV, yeah. I absolutely adore Joseph Gordon-Levitt since Third Rock from the Sun. Love that show. Love everything that he's ever done,
Yeah.
pretty much.
He's pretty
Mysterious Skin,
Uh-huh.
his Nolan movies. as
Dark Knight
well.
Rises.
You know,
Where he could have been Robin.
he could have been Robin.
Yeah, yeah.
He's my Robin. He's my Robin.
I'm not jealous at all here, John.
No, don't be. We should certainly be getting more of our 5 a day over on that TV station.
So you're telling me to get another subscription to another streaming
Well, that
service?
is true. That is true.
All right, we need more support on Patreon, people. But we won't be subscribing. But if we do, there's another show to watch. How about that? Mr. Corman over on Apple TV.
Interesting.
So quite cool that these are two writing partners coming to join the show for this episode. Again, one of the cool things about Wonder Man, peeling back the curtain for what goes on in Hollywood, it's giving opportunities to people who have all these different perspectives on how their lives went when they joined Hollywood. And this episode particularly is the most focused, I think, on the business end of Hollywood, isn't it?
Yeah, in terms of, yes, that notion of the callback,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly, you know, the crazy director looking to sort of work his way through his own process.
Yes.
And I think that's what is kind of interesting here, is it's all so far out of Simon's comfort zone that it becomes really interesting.
Well, absolutely. We will talk all about that in our top 3 takes. But first, John, do you want to tell us what they gave us with your synopsis for Marvel's Wonder Man Episode 6, Callback?
Sure. Simon Williams and Trevor Slattery immediately drive to director von Kovak's mansion for the callback, joining other actors in the running for Wonder Man and Barnaby. Exhausted and lacking sleep, Simon is paranoid as the callback begins. Kovak pairs the actors with one another for chemistry tests via improvisational exercises. While Trevor impresses the group, Simon falters with his improv skills. Simon confides in Trevor that he is nervous about von Kovak, pushing him to expose himself, but Trevor encourages him that he is more than his powers. Simon and Trevor are finally paired together, which impresses Kovak so much he casts them both in the lead roles. After being dropped off home by Simon, Trevor is picked up by the DODC for failing to apprehend Simon, but Trevor says he's almost there and begs them to give him more time.
Ooh, especially now that he knows all about Simon's powers.
Indeed.
Yeah. This is the first time he's talked to Cleary since he saw Simon actually use his powers, isn't it, as well? So, very interesting. But let us break it down as we usually do with our top 3 takes from the episode. Quiet on set. Take 1. Action. Because it's such a rush at the beginning of the episode to get straight over to Von Kovak's house, I guess we're going to start there, meeting the other actors. But there's an initial moment of tension when Simon arrives to the house and sees one pair of shoes outside the house and is wondering, is it a shoes on or a shoes off house? Quite a great little bit of comedy at the beginning, because Simon is stressed about absolutely everything. You know, when you go for an interview, John, and you're questioning every single decision that you've made, what you've written on your CV, can you remember everything about it? Is the person that's in there, are they someone that likes coffee or tea? Should you bring in something with you? Or are you going to sell yourself? Well, this is what Simon's going through here. Could be the biggest moment of his career, and he could mess it up by wearing shoes or not wearing shoes going into the house.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Fantastic. But I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because it is set up even in the car on the way over, that Simon's absolutely shattered and tired because he's been up all night, with the Chamoy bros, Jaden and everything like that. He's stressing. I mean, it's even to the point where he's saying, we need to rehearse something spontaneous, which I really love. But there's the tension there with Trevor. Simon's like, you know, he's already convincing himself that he's lost the opportunity of his life because he got caught up in the BS of Trevor with Patrick, Connor, and everything that happened there. I do like that Trevor comes back to him and says, yeah, but you got a good story though. Again, it's Trevor trying to calm Simon down, Simon overthinking, overstressing, overanalyzing, over everything, and now overtired. So I think it's just really good. And yes, it leads to that wonderful moment of the shoes at the door test where, there's just one pair outside of the house. I mean, again, it's just really nicely played here where you have Simon going, well, there should either be a line of shoes or none at all. There shouldn't just be one pair.
Exactly.
And then Von Kovak's assistant opens the door and she's got the long trousers where he can't see whether she's wearing shoes or not. And so you have, in effect, Tweedledum and Tweedledee here, where you have Trevor in his shoes and Simon having taken off his shoes, walking through the house to realise that not only do they all have their shoes on, one of them has got their shoes on the furniture, which is really bad manners.
Absolutely.
As my mother would have said.
Yes. And I love that Trevor also tells Simon, most importantly here, whether you keep your shoes on or off, most importantly here, just don't show any weird energy. That's more important. Whatever way you do it, it's grand, but don't make Von Kovak think you're weird, because that will definitely not get you the job. But yeah, they find out that they're not the only people that have gotten the callback. Everybody that's up for the roles of Wonder Man and Barnaby are here in the house with Von Kovak, and they're going to be doing a big workout session. I think Von Kovak calls it his prison of opulence, this massive mansion in Hollywood where they're all going to be stuck together until they work out who gets the roles.
Well, absolutely. But he calls it my little retreat, everything I love and detest about Hollywood all at once. This is the consummate outsider. I'm guessing Eastern European, who has made it, is being asked to do this big action movie and is going to put his own spin on it. And so, I love the fact that everything that Von Kovak is saying is freaking Simon out.
Oh, absolutely.
This isn't just a simple audition. It's not a reading of lines. This is chemistry tests, improv. It's all these different elements that go beyond just that simple reading the lines to the camera or with the people in the audition. And this kind of, he's seeing hidden meaning and tricks in everything, whether it's the shoes at the door, or just looking to try and interpret Von Kovak's subconsciousness even. And again, it's like you were saying it from last episode where they read out the line. It's almost telling you the episode or in the series. And again, we get that here where there's the line of, this is not the time for games and riddles. It's like literally get down to it and do your thing. Whereas all these games and riddles are just flooding into Simon's mind. He's absolutely on overtime thinking about absolutely everything.
Like, remember, if you go back to the first episode when he had his role on American Horror Story Council, that was 3 lines, and he'd written all over the page with all of his ideas that he thought about from just these 3 or 4 lines, This is not a guy that can stand in a room and you throw a line at him and he throws back a response in character. This is a guy that needs to know his character in depth with 6 months of research, or at least that's what he thinks he needs to do. And this is what Trevor is trying to work with him on all the time, is telling him, that process that you have, remember, you've never had a big movie before, right? So maybe that process isn't working for you. Go with the flow. See what you can do. I love the line that he says to him. I think it's even in the car earlier on. He says, the second wind will come. Just open your sails to it.
Yes, exactly. Says, That's so much good advice here. I mean, I think this is the other really nice thing about this whole show is just, yes, ultimately, Trevor is a sneak behind all of this, dealing with DODC, where you can see that Trevor is bonding with Simon. You can see actually increasingly the conflict with Trevor and his role that's been forced onto him by DODC and by Agent Cleary. Whether it is the snapping of the chip so that there's none of the audio from Simon's mother's birthday, or whether it's this avoidance of Agent Cleary's calls. Trevor here in this moment is wanting Simon to succeed.
Yes.
He wants him to do well, and he's giving him all his advice.
Yeah.
And it's just really, really good, that kind of whole mentor element, I think that comes through here. That I say mentor, but I actually mean friendship, because I think that's, that is what Trevor is increasingly feeling for Simon, is a friendship.
Yeah.
A shared friendship between the two of them that's happened quite quickly, in a forced situation for him, but he appreciates it.
Absolutely.
It's even not just Von Kovak, it's the other actors here. There's, the very, very confident Juilliard actor who's just come off a Christopher Nolan project, which is just so good.
Do you know, I saw headlines just after this show came out saying Christopher Nolan confirmed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, oh
Exactly.
my God.
Really good.
And what's even funnier is the other actor, the surf instructor for Paul Thomas Anderson. So Paul Thomas Anderson is also in the MCU, but I love him. We have the quote up front, but just this guy who's like the exact opposite of Simon. This guy just goes with the flow. He tossed surfing to a very famous director, ended off in a movie. He's a natural actor. There's a great moment when he delivers the line about games and riddles that Simon's been working on for days and days, and Simon looks at him and goes, "Damn it, he is a natural." Hilarious.
It's so good.
Yeah. And then isn't the last guy the Spanish actor Manuel, who gives his like seven word name to Simon, and Simon's like, "I'm Simon Williams." God damn, your name's very, very long. But isn't he also on the mood board that Von Kovak has created? So just that little touch there of another thing that's going against Simon, the person that is up against Trevor for the part of Barnaby, is already on the mood board for Von Kovak. He's seeped into his subconscious, as Von Kovak says. So I love this. This is the worst case scenario for Simon. If he could be in a booth and read the lines that are given to him and then just be judged on the work that he's done for that role and then be given the role of Wonder Man, he'd be fine. But here he is in a situation where they're telling him, you have to do lots of different things.
Absolutely.
I want to just talk a little bit about Von Kovak's mood board. They get brought into this massive room where, it looks like Kovak's trying to solve a murder, one of those kind of boards where you put up loads of things. But this is his inspiration board for his big superhero movie. And guess what's on there, John? All the Avengers are on there. We have Falcon up there. We have Captain America's up there. We have Thor. We have Shuri and Black Panther are up there. They're all up on the wall there as inspiration. We also see a bit of Alien up there, saying this is going to be a space movie. So Alien's one of the inspirations for him. As I mentioned, Manuel is up there in another role that he was playing. But there's also things from the Wonder Man movie that we saw in the first episode.
Yes.
There's bits of that, of course, because he's making the remake of Wonder Man, so of course there'll be bits of that. But I do love that he has this massive inspiration board in there. That his movie is going to be absolutely huge, and he's been thinking about it very deeply since he got the idea that this is going to be the movie that brings him out of retirement, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, even to the point that he has his kind of opener intro song for Wonder Man, which is Midnight Special. And again, I think all of this just layers on more pressure for Simon, because it's like, these are his ideas. He's kind of, does he want to go up against Von Kovak, this, brilliant director who has, without trying, got a huge action movie, because he's ultimately an indie movie director at heart. I kind of just really enjoyed how, it's playing out, and you have then Trevor starting to improvise with a trombone on it, which again, Simon, you just see Yaya's eyes as he's looking at Trevor. This is freaking him out, because he's like, I can't do that. I wouldn't have done a trombone at that moment. Why is he doing a trombone?
in Credence as well, yeah.
Do you know? So it was really, really good.
And do you know what it was reminding me of when he was given the description? Von Kovak is saying, this is my song for the opening of the movie, Creedence Clearwater Revival Midnight Special. He's playing the song. And he's saying, you think you're out in space, but actually you're focusing in on Earth. You're actually on our planet Earth. And we see our main character, Wonder Man is on the planet. It was reminding me of the opening of, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, obviously, all the Guardians movies well known for their music, but it starts out in space and then we're on Earth with a de-aged Kurt Russell in that opening scene in the 70s with 70s music playing, and that's what it was reminding me of. I was wondering whether they took a bit of that. Was that what their idea was, that Von Kovak is kind of taking a little bit of the Guardians of the Galaxy there?
Yeah.
They'd be characters that most of Earth wouldn't know after Avengers Endgame. But I wonder if they were taking a little bit of inspiration from Guardians of the Galaxy for that scene.
Yeah,
in his mind,
absolutely.
Maybe. Yeah. But that's kind of our opening take on the fellow actors. Let's go into our take number 2. Take 2, action. So we talked a little bit about it already. But let's go a bit deeper into our poor little stressed Simon here.
Indeed.
There's just that moment where you can tell he's things aren't going well for him at all when Von Kovak looks over and sees everybody saying the lines from the script with each other and just goes, let's throw out the script and start from scratch.
Yes. Let's get past our preconceived notions of heroes and gods. Let's see where it goes.
Use the house as your set. You have to perform a scene of whatever you want, and then he starts to give them some little inspiration. So is it Trevor and Ollie are the first to perform a scene, and they are a couple.
Yes, a couple. Trevor is Ollie's wife,
That's it.
who he hates, but actually loves. And Ollie has an old hunting injury just here as he slaps him. It's so good. I love, and it's like after they've done it, it's like Von Kovak's, they're so present.
Yes.
It's just like absolutely effusive about Trevor and Ollie as they make their way around his house with that improvisation, and then it comes to Simon and Manuel, and Simon is not really finding it easy to improvise with Manuel, and ultimately he just goes with a scene from Pretty Woman, but also starts smashing up all the crockery to emphasize each of the lines, and you have Von Kovak saying, well, that's not what I was looking for. Simon, I'm disappointed. And I just thought this was really, really funny. I mean, for me personally, Pretty Woman, I literally detest with a passion. Yeah. Not because I particularly dislike it. I had to watch it so many times growing up because my sister absolutely loved it. She was a massive fan, wasn't she?
Massive fan. Yes, or is a massive fan of it. Yeah.
I think it was more initially to do with It Must Have Been Love, the big soundtrack a song that came from it.
Roxette?
Yeah. From Roxette, that's it. But oh my goodness, I think I watched that so many times. I knew so many lines, and then I was just like, I have never watched it again for since I was 14.
Right. Showing your age there, John. But did you have the same experience then that I did? So you see Simon delivering these lines, and you're going, wow, he is killing this audition. He's doing such a great job. And then you're going, oh, there's something I recognize in those lines there.
Exactly.
Like, this is probably the most famous speech of Julia Roberts' career. It's been played over and over again outside of watching the movie, but I didn't get it instantly that that's what Simon was doing. And then it was when he says, you made me feel so cheap, and I'm going, that doesn't seem to work very well with what Manuel has just said.
That was when I got the chills down the spine. Yeah, absolutely.
And then he just starts smashing these plates from Von Kovak's table. Let's hope that specific set in the dining room is part of the pieces that he loathes from Hollywood. That's part of the problem. But
that's it. But you have Simon sort of blaming Trevor again because he's tired and he can't concentrate for this. But he sees that it's not going well, and the next pairing seemingly goes even less well, where Simon is paired with Richard. And I think the improvisation here is that Richard is to be someone from Simon's past, and that Simon's given the instruction that he should really go back to that moment, like long ago. To be honest, I didn't really take too many notes around the speech, but it's ultimately the fact that Richard calls Simon a freak and persists with this, a freak from school, in the dream, and is just like keeps pushing it.
Well, yes, he's saying things like he's pretending to be a schoolmate of Simon's from his past, and he's saying things like, we all know your secret. We've all been talking about you behind your back. You can't keep it from us. We all know you're a freak. And then Simon punches him through his face. What a shocking moment. And again, because Simon's been hiding his powers throughout the series so far, other than the moment with the drug dealers last episode, this felt like maybe the rage had overtaken him and he'd reacted.
Absolutely. This felt shocking. Really shocking, seeing effectively Richard's head punched through by Simon. But also because it's coming from a place where you go, yeah, this is stressing Simon out so much he's lost complete control here. So it feels like absolutely real. And then you see that Simon wakes up from having catnapped effectively on the seat because he's so tired from all the shenanigans that happened with Esteban and Jaden. So like this was really a good little sort of rug pull for me as well.
Absolutely. And I think, we've come into this knowing that this show was going to be a little bit more adult. It was going to be different from the other MCU shows. We've seen, almost 5 seasons of The Boys now. The Boys finishing up this year, a massively violent show where this type of stuff happens almost every episode. So it did sit with something that could happen in this universe. So to have that moment where he just wakes up out of his sleep and Von Kovak going to him, the person he's trying to impress most in his entire life, I think, Von Kovak going to him, "Are we boring you?" And Simon just going, "I just need to take a minute," and goes outside to clear his head.
Yeah, absolutely. Shall we get on to our third take?
Gonna go one last time. Take 3. Action. Yes, our third and final take is Simon and Trevor together win the roles.
Yes.
So all the pairings that Von Kovak had done with all the different people in the room, there really is nobody that has more chemistry in that room than Simon and Trevor. And they may not even know it themselves. But what Simon really needs is the wake-up call that Trevor gives to him. Yeah. It's not about reading lines. It's not about all the things that you're trying to avoid saying about your past. It's everything else about you that makes you the person for this role. It makes you the person that you are. It's showing them all of the past that you've had, not about the powers, but all the people that you've lost, all the life that you've lived so far, and channeling that into a role to show the world the human that is behind the lines that are being given to you. A great speech and a great moment that leads the two of them to work together.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought this was really, really nice, actually, really affecting. Because you have Simon having to take a moment outdoors to kind of, well, at least try to compose himself. It's kind of not working, even, with all the best efforts of Trevor to help him. Again, he's just worried that his real self will show. And to him, his real self is him with these superpowers that ultimately will get him banned from doing this role. And yeah, I think you have a really touching moment where Trevor kind of says, the real you is not your condition. And I just think that's really, really important.
Absolutely.
But the sum of your experiences, because I think that can apply to anything. And so I think there's a really nice moment between these two. In this case for Simon, it's this notion of his powers and what that means to a world where most people don't have them. And here Trevor's like saying, sure, you have powers, but that's only one part of the equation that makes up what you are. It's love, hurt, caring, all that stuff.
Yeah.
and he's like, that's your life. It's a mirror up to nature, which he's talked about before. And it kind of, this invigorates and inspires Simon to ultimately pull it back from the brink of failure here.
Absolutely.
And I like how then the lines that they read start outside but end off indoors back in the room with everyone watching.
Yes.
I think it's a nice little framing of it all. Just to show how, when paired together, they have outshone all the others there.
Exactly.
Which is a really nice kind of notion. It's also that notion of no man's an island, or, not only just people are the sum of the parts, but you're a part of a greater sum of, community, whether that's family, actors trying to work together, or whatever it might be.
And I think even Trevor's talking about the audience themselves being part of it. He talks about, we share our pain and grief with the audience, and the audience are less alone in theirs. He's talking about that community that you're creating by doing something on screen, the way that he's saying it to Simon, And I do feel this is where Ben Kingsley is coming into the role as well. We saw a great interview with Ben and Yaya just there a couple of days ago, where they were talking about the fact that they put all of themselves into these roles. They found what was there in the words and what was there in the direction from Destin Daniel Cretton and from Andrew Guest, but they were also bringing pieces of themselves to these roles because they felt so connected to them. And you can see that there are moments here where you feel like Ben Kingsley is passing on some of his knowledge to, at least to the audience of actors that are out there. Maybe not Yaya, because he's a very successful actor in his own right, but you feel like there's pieces of them speaking through to the audience on the other side, which is a great harnessing of this actor, of these actors.
And I think that's the thing. It's just like, two people having one another's back. Trevor supporting Simon in his moment of stress. You have the great elation where you have von Kovak saying, as they're leaving his house, they don't quite know whether they've got the role or not, but you have von Kovak coming and saying, I was ready to dismiss you, Simon, but you are Wonder Man, and Trevor, you are my Barnaby. And you have this elation, they have the job. You can see Simon is elated for it in his own way.
Absolutely.
And of course, it's like, we're going to make the best movie, the last movie ever on Earth, because no one will have the balls to make another one.
It's just, back there. It's great.
So it's all, it's so like uplifting. It's positive. It's elation for Simon. Trevor then is dropped off by Simon at his apartment, and I love the fact that as he pulls off, this black sedan pulls up and just basically picks up Trevor, chucks him in, and you have the Agent Cleary who's basically saying, well, you've been avoiding me, you're going back to prison. And Trevor's like, no, Simon is dangerous, I can testify, but I need more time. It's almost like just throwing him under the bus after all this loveliness, and you're like, oh no, this isn't gonna be good for Simon when he finds out. And you're like, Trevor, what are you doing? I liked how all this built
absolutely,
really over this episode with the auditioning. So yeah, really good stuff.
Yeah. You're right. It's so interesting that that's the way Trevor handles Cleary on the other side after having these amazing moments with Simon beforehand, where the two of them connected so much. Trevor somehow, despite being the Mandarin and being arrested by the FBI, has found himself in the role on this massive movie that was really a trap to get Simon captured in the beginning. But now Trevor's committed to this massive role in this massive movie. So, how the heck is this going to play out
I know,
as the rest of the season goes on? But yes, really enjoyed this. And, I love how the show has changed it for me. But at the start of the season, I was laughing about these two actors talking to each other saying acting is the most important thing in the world, Lovey, And by this episode, I'm going, well, now I can kind of see this is why I love TV and this is why I love movies, because you do feel a connection with the performances
Absolutely.
of great actors on screen. Of course you do. It was just how it was being positioned at the beginning of the season. These two people who hadn't had any major roles in their life saying acting is the most important thing in the world, but they do understand that the community that acting can create with people is massively important. Entertainment is hugely important to free people and to open people's minds to things. Yes, it's great to see how they've changed my mind on that almost as the season's gone on, or given me a different perspective, let's say, as the season's gone on. So, anything else on that point, John, or any notes that you have about the episode?
Yeah, the only note I've got is kind of you have the flashback to Trevor auditioning for the Mandarin, and to be honest, I just really like the way the person behind the camera who you don't see is like, well, just try to sound scary. And I like how it comes and develops in that moment of the audition tape for Trevor. It's kind of, because it starts off a little squeaky, the tone's not quite right. And
I think it starts off as an audition for a job in a pizza commercial or something like that.
Agreed. And then it's something more scary. And the other interesting thing here is it's only when he puts on his sunglasses, and the other side of this is the sunglasses of Wonder Man. Like we were saying around in the Disney box that we were saying, and part of Wonder Man's outfit from the comics is his goggles or his specs, and his sunglasses effectively. And here you have Trevor actually getting into full character of the Mandarin, having both darkened, deepened, and gravelled his voice more from initially after the guy behind says, try to sound more scary, but also putting on the sunnies.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of quite a nice little moment.
Yeah, it's such a cool scene to see this. And you can also, one of the things that's really clear here is that Trevor is massively out of his depth in this audition. He sounds like he's completely under the influence of drugs still, or very drunk coming in for this audition. He's saying he's not at his best at all. He doesn't really want to do this audition. And then even when he finds out that it's not auditioning for this, what sounds like an advert for, as I said, a pizza place, he's still saying, can I do this a different way? And the guy's pushing him and pushing him and pushing him, they want someone like Simon in this role to take on this role of the terrorist, and the more easily manipulated this person is because of the drugs that he's on, the better it is for them, right? So, I'd love if the reveal was that's Aldrich Killian on the other side of the camera. We never get to see the person. Doesn't sound like Guy Pearce.
No.
But you'd love if there was a moment that it was revealed that was Guy Pearce on the other side of the camera. But I don't think it is. It's probably one of his guys, right? He has a lot of people at AIM.
Yes, he needs to be several degrees separated from this.
Yes, exactly. Great stuff. Unfortunately, Chris didn't get to come back and join us.
No, I would say he's well deep in it.
I'd say he is. I'd say he's cleaning the walls at the moment. Sorry, Chris. But John, I think we need to get on to our defense. John, do you defend the 6th episode of Marvel's Wonder Man callback?
I really do. I give this 4.5 von Kovak improvs out of 5. I love the patter of this. Just Simon again, just in a sense showing how incapable he is actually to some degree. He's very capable. Janelle sees it, but when it's in and of the moment, it's overthought, overprocessed. And in this sense, he's also overtired. And I like the fact that, there is this little wobble between Trevor and Simon. Simon does think, and it crops up a few times in this where Simon's really blaming Trevor for how it's going in the audition, and that, this opportunity hangs in the balance because of being caught up in all the shenanigans of Trevor's past, effectively. I think Von Kovak's excellent, just the portrayal of the auteur involved here. His assistant with the long trousers that freaks Simon out with the with the whole shoes at the door.
I love that she even just leaves them outside Von Kovak's office, which is also right beside the front door, and doesn't say a word to them. And actually, they've got the role,
Exactly.
but because she's so offhanded with them and walks away, they think they need to go home. It's great.
I think the improv exercises with the different pair-ups.
Hilarious.
I think I love the little almost bait and switch around Simon falling asleep and punching out Richard's head. That was really well done. That took me
Really
by
shocking.
surprise.
Yeah.
And ultimately, though, the conversations between Simon and Trevor out on the veranda and what it leads to is so, I think, beautiful. It's really, really good, which is then immediately undermined by Trevor looking out for numero uno, which is himself, at the hands of Agent Cleary, where it's, no, he is a danger and I will testify. I don't want to go back to prison. So totally for himself. And you're like, well, where's that going to go? How's that going to play out? So really, really looking forward to the next episode as well. So for me, yes, absolutely defend this. Again, really solid series, this for me. 4.5 Von Kovak improvs out of 5.
Fantastic. One of the interesting things, actually, from what Trevor says to Cleary is that he needs time to get the evidence. Does time to get the evidence mean I need to go out and film the entire movie of Wonder Man? Don't pressure me for a few months while I'm filming it. Maybe that's his way in.
Maybe, exactly. Derek, do you defend this episode of Wonder Man?
Yeah, I absolutely defend this episode. This is a really, really good episode. Again, a strong sense of the Hollywood system and how movies get made, the collaborative process of writer, director and the cast that he's assembling around him. Really liked that insight, but also it's telling a story about the character here. Really importantly, what we're learning about Simon is he has to be in control of everything in his life, because he's terrified somebody's going to find out about his real past, his real history, his real powers, and being told by Trevor that actually he's got so much more to him other than his powers, and he's been hiding his real life, trying to hide the powers. It's such a great moment between the two of them. Yeah, absolutely loved this episode. Really good fun as well, especially with the extra actors in there as well.
Yeah,
really good scenes. And that's it for our episode discussion for episode 6. I think we need to go and get a pint down the pub, John.
Definitely. Fellow quizzers, fellow defenders, welcome to the 6th installment of the Wonder Man pub quiz. We're on to question 6, which is, what is the name of the character that Richard still has nightmares about after playing the role in The Lieutenant of Inishmore?
Oh, I didn't realise he was such a sensitive soul, John. Very good. You want to give the question one more time?
Absolutely. What is the name of the character that Richard still has nightmares about after playing the role in The Lieutenant of Inishmore?
Just a one-word answer, and that is the 6th question. Gather together the correct answers to all 8 questions at the end of the season, and email us in with those to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com, and you could be able the chance of getting your hands on some very fun items connected, hopefully, with Wonder Man.
Yes, absolutely. Good luck, fellow defenders and quizzers.
Yes, and we, of course, want to keep hearing your thoughts about Wonder Man. You can email us through to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com with your thoughts about each of the episodes for Wonder Man, or you can pop on over to our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/tvpodcastindustries, or join us over on our Discord server. The link is in the show notes of this very episode, or pop on over to Discord and search TV Podcast Industries. You should be able to find us over there. Let us know if you can't. We'll hopefully be able to make it a bit easier for you. We do have some feedback in on episode 6. First up, we got some feedback in from Mathematician over on Facebook. He says, anybody else pausing on Kovak's wall to look for Easter eggs? Lots of Avengers stuff in there, but as a non-comic book reader, the callbacks often pass me by. Trevor playing the invisible trombone was hilarious. I'd love to spend an evening with that guy. I love how he copes with the destruction he helped cause for Aldrich Killian, because he can't remember any of it due to being blitzed out of his skull. As a late 80s, early 90s teenager from the streets of inner city Liverpool, I can relate to not remembering much of the time for similar reasons. Nearly jumped out of my skin when Simon punched a hole through through the confusing actor's head. So
Absolutely.
thankfully it was all just a dream, and Kovak's house from the outside reminded me of Aldrich Killian's place that Tony infiltrated with his trusty tech. It wasn't the same filming location, I did check. Very good. They then stunned Kovak with a dramatic audition where they proved that less is more and surprisingly won the parts. Kovak feeling the same chemistry as we have watching the show. The faces on the two of them in the car while they're just trying to act not too excited. Absolutely love it.
Definitely.
Cleary showing up once more to try and threaten Trevor with prison once again, but this time I think Trevor doesn't want to help him anymore and has started to consider how to keep himself out of prison without, and the traitors influenced praise alert, throwing Simon under the bus. We'll see. Just 2 more episodes to go.
Absolutely. Thanks, mathematician, for the feedback.
Absolutely, yeah. I like that take there. That actually the reason why Trevor is saying to Cleary, "Just give me more time," is because he no longer wants to help him.
It
wants
is
to
really
just give
good.
himself a bit of time to come up with something else. I like that.
Definitely. Totally with you as well on the invisible trombone. Love that. I also, I think that's a really good point. How, in a sense, he's almost oblivious of all that destruction, because he was blitzed out of his skull. And yes, I had the same reaction with Simon punching the hole through the actor's head, which was, one of shock, surprise, and jumping out of my skin.
Absolutely.
Really pleased you're enjoying the show and enjoying these two fantastic actors going head to head. It's really good.
Absolutely, yeah. And 2 more episodes to go.
Absolutely.
Yes, and John's back once again for the feedback section this time.
Certainly am.
Yes.
Yeah, good to be back.
Absolutely. John, do you want to kick us off with the first additional piece of feedback?
Yes, over on email, we got some feedback from Coffee and Vodka, who says, "Greetings, fellow domestically directed defenders. Before anything, loved the shoe bit. Functionally, the episode had 2 jobs, separating character from power and properly introducing Von Kovak, which it did well. The rest was pure piss-taking out of the Hollywood machine, which has put me in a mind to finally watch The Studio. Now that the stage is set, can't wait to see what they do with it. 5 blown minds, shoeless schmoes, and artless archetypes out of 5. Peace and take care. Coffee and Vodka."
Fantastic Coffee and Vodka. Yeah, I loved that shoe scene. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really
Just
good.
so good.
Yeah.
Just the outward expression of Simon's racing mind.
Absolutely,
And I
yeah.
absolutely loved it.
What is 1 pair of shoes outside house mean? I love it. I thought it was really, really good.
Just like Trevor's response is like, well, who cares?
Yes, where he just goes, don't make him realize that you're weird. That's more important. Very cool. Coffee Vodka as well. Yeah, I'd highly recommend The Studio. I think we watched the first 4 or 5 episodes of it, and for no particular reason we haven't gone back to the episodes, but we have really enjoyed watching that. We're also watching a show called Hacks as well, which stars Gene Smart, who was in the excellent Watchmen, along with Yahya Abdul-Mateen playing his former beau in that, but she's in Hacks as well, and that's another show about show business, and is really, really good. Highly recommend that
absolutely.
as well. They're like 30-minute comedy as well.
Yeah, definitely. Both really good. The Studio and Hacks.
Yeah.
And again, this is a nice little, additional element into not only the Hollywood machine, but someone themselves who identifies as being out of the Hollywood machine, in the Hollywood machine, which is not just Trevor and Simon, but Von Kovak as well. So
Absolutely.
I kind of like that.
Yeah. Love it. Thanks so much for that, Coffee Vodka.
Yeah, thanks, Coffee and Vodka.
Over on Discord, Philippe says, "Well, is now a good time to admit I've never seen Pretty Woman."
Lucky you, Philippe. Lucky you.
I honestly thought he was doing a great job and had found his mojo, especially with all the dramatic glass throwing. Fooled me. It is just one of those things that lots of us may not have picked up as quickly as others. There's loads of people that could quote every single line in Pretty Woman, like you mentioned, John. Your sister would probably be able to quote every single line in that.
She wouldn't. I don't think so. I only know that because I say I was forced to watch it. I probably wasn't, but in the end, it was just like ubiquitous in our household because she was watching it all the time.
But that's what I mean. She probably would know that line instantly because it's such a big moment in the movie. Is all I mean.
She might
do.
do.
It's like my brothers used to watch Breakfast Club every day after school for years, and I mean like 2 or 3 years. So we've seen it in our household. We saw it up to 300-400 times.
It's like when I go around the house saying there'll be nobody to stop us this time.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. We know exactly what you're referencing there. So yes, it's a good time to admit it, Philippe. If you don't want to see it, I wouldn't highly recommend Pretty Woman, but other people would.
It's it's one of those classic movies that did well at the time. Whether it's aged, I don't know, because I really have avoided it.
Yeah, I really don't want to see it anytime soon. Yeah. But Julia Roberts is great in it.
Absolutely.
That helps.
Richard Gere.
He's also in it. Great stuff. Thanks, Philippe.
Yeah, thanks, Philippe. Also, over on our Facebook group, Heather Wallace says, based on Kovak's music choice, I think he's been hanging out with the Star-Lord. I'm glad this episode finally established that Trevor is trying out for Barnaby. It certainly fits with the building tension of will he betray Simon, but it was also funny to imagine him trying out for Wonder Man. I felt so embarrassed for Simon when he started doing Pretty Woman, and I was so thankful I'm not an actor having to jump through those hoops.
Yes, absolutely.
Indeed. I mean, I loved drama at school, and I didn't do it in the end because I had to do... Well, I did a second language in terms of German with French, which was, I wish I hadn't now because both languages suffered.
Yes.
And
school's so weird for that, making you choose between drama or another language, isn't it?
And I wish, and I just wish I'd done drama now. But equally, I look at this and I go, oh my goodness, could you imagine that? I mean, it is sheer resilience of these people that go out and fur Jews. And I think that's the nice thing that comes out from Simon's brother, really. Yeah. Just this notion of, I mean, okay, he's coming at it from a very scornful point of view, but it's like, so you've gotten a call back, so you've got to interview again. Yeah. You've not got the job. And it's like, you hear about this, like, loads of callbacks, on some of the additional extras or, the myth that goes around a certain production. And you're just like going, could you imagine having that? Just the sword of Damocles held over you for so long. Absolutely. So will I, won't I? And also just having to be able to pick yourself up, that resilience, as I say, and get back at it after being told no, or maybe, or possibly. Yeah. Well, you're good, but, I've had moments like that where ultimately then I go, oh, well, screw you. Yeah. I'm not doing that again.
Absolutely. You can't do that because you might be blacklisted in Hollywood, John. Exactly. So, yeah. Yeah, no, I've had times being out of work and having to interview a lot for roles and not hearing back, not hearing anything at all, putting your best foot forward. Great. Yeah, you could do that over and over again. And then you may get to the perfect place. They want you, you're perfect for the job, and then you're just terrible at the interview because you've done 20 interviews beforehand where you've put everything into it and you've been beaten down by the system, Can you imagine what that's like if you're doing 2 or 3 auditions every single week? It's just a tiny insight in the background that's here. But we did mention some of the things that do come through are, for this show itself, someone like Yahya Abdul-Mateen having to do those recordings of himself doing self-tapes in hundreds of different outfits, in hundreds of different styles, just for the background of an episode in this show. I just think is really funny that they would have had the actor do that much stuff as well. But that happens all the time. People work on shows and movies for 5 or 6 months, and it turns into, an hour of TV or a 2-hour movie, That's a huge amount of time that they've spent, and we only see a fraction of that work and a fraction of what they've actually done, So it's cool that actually comes out. And yes, I don't know whether I'd have the patience to do that myself, to be honest.
Yeah, and certainly Kovak's music choice would fit with Star-Lord and his mixtape, which ultimately from his mum from that sort of 1970s era. Yeah,
I wonder did Von Kovak hang out with his mom at all those gigs that she went to with his dad as well? Maybe they went to a Creedence Clearwater Revival gig at some point. Great stuff. Thanks, Heather.
Yeah, thanks, Heather.
And thanks everybody for your feedback.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks, fellow defenders, for all your thoughts there. Keep them coming in for the rest of the episodes. Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us for our chat all about Wonder Man episode 6. We'll be back next week with our chat about the penultimate episode, Kathy Friedman.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting name for an episode.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah. Kathy Friedman in the MCU. Do you know Kathy Friedman, John? I don't.
No, I do not. We will see, though. But yes, thank you so much, fellow defenders, for joining us. Until next week for episode 7, fellow defenders. Keep watching, keep listening, and of course, keep defending. Bye, my lovelies.
Bye.